The electrician's reckoning. The basement reeked of burnt copper and 2 decades of regret. I was crouched in front of the electrical panel when my 13-year-old son Tyler burst through the door, his face pale as drywall primer. "Dad, I need to tell you something," he whispered. "Mom's upstairs with some guy in your bedroom. He said if I told anyone, he'd make sure I regretted it." I'm Victor Hayes, owner of Hayes Electric. 22 years of marriage, 2 kids, a business we built together, and Sarah was
with its
upstairs
signature
with a
BBQ
stranger in our
pork buns
bed, while I
and steamed
fixed the
rice
electrical
rolls.
problems she'd been complaining about all week. What did this guy look like? I kept my voice steady, but inside something fundamental had just shorted out. Tall, dark hair, wearing a suit, drives a red BMW. "Dad." He grabbed my arm when he saw me. "Left marks." Tyler rolled up his sleeve, showing finger-shaped bruises. That's when the last circuit breaker in my brain flipped. Some bastard was threatening my son in my house. After sending Tyler to his grandmother's, I headed upstairs with my phone recording. Sarah was in the kitchen humming, wearing a silk robe I'd never seen before. "How's the electrical work coming?" she asked without looking at me. Interesting question. Seems like there's been some unauthorized wiring going on in this house. Panic flashed across her face before the mask returned. "I don't know what you're talking about." I picked up her shattered coffee mug from the floor. The bottom read, "RC's Real Estate Making Dreams Come True." RC, huh? Real subtle. Her crocodile tears didn't move me. Behind me, she was already calling someone as I walked to my workshop. The investigation. The next morning, my secretary Patricia pulled RC's file. Russell Cole Martinez, real estate agent, son of a retired police chief, known for targeting married women. We'd done electrical work for 3 of his property flips. I hired Frank Cooper, a former cop turned PI, to dig deeper. Within days, I had surveillance photos of Sarah and Russell at the Marriott, financial records showing Russell owed the IRS 50 grand, and phone logs documenting their affair. Sarah served me with divorce papers demanding half of everything, but I'd already changed the locks and put her belongings on the porch. She'd been planning this with Russell all along, using our money to pay his debts before they fled to Florida. Then they cleaned out our accounts. $68,000 from the business and savings combined. Justice at 2 a.m. Word spread through town fast. At the copper tap, my friends, electricians, plumbers, carpenters understood what needed to be done when someone steals your livelihood. Saturday night, 12 men gathered at my shop. We had a simple plan. Surround the Willowbrook Motor Lodge where Russell and Sarah were staying, and invite Russell to return what he'd stolen. At 2 a.m., Frank and I knocked on room 15. When Russell opened the door, his face went white. "I came to collect what's mine," I said. Through the window, I showed him the 11 men surrounding his BMW, tools in hand. "You give me back every penny, or I leave and you deal with them." Russell claimed they'd already transferred the money. Wrong answer. As I walked toward the door, the sound of breaking glass echoed from the parking lot. Someone had put a brick through his windshield. "What do you want?" Russell asked desperately. "I want you to leave town tonight. If I see you again, if you contact Sarah or my children, my friends will finish what we started." I handed him a promissory note acknowledging the debt. With shaking hands, he signed it. Outside, his BMW was destroyed, every window broken, tires flat, thief spray-painted across the hood. One of the men tossed him a bus ticket. "Greyhound leaves at 6. I'd be on it." Russell grabbed his suitcase and walked into the night. Starting over. Sarah called the next day, stranded at the motel. "I want to come home. You burned this bridge when you decided Russell was more important than your family. Some things are just broken forever." She moved to Pennsylvania. The divorce papers never got filed without Russell's support and no money for lawyers. She simply disappeared from our lives. 3 months later, Frank brought news. Russell had been arrested in Miami for real estate fraud. He'd been running the same scam across 3 states, targeting dozens of married women. He was looking at 5 to 10 years in federal prison. The federal prosecutors recovered most of the stolen money. I got back every penny plus interest. I put it toward college funds for the kids and a new truck for the business. A year later, Hayes Electric was thriving. I'd hired 2 new electricians and bought a second truck. Tyler joined the baseball team. Emma was talking about college. They both seemed happy despite everything. I kept Russell's promissory note framed in my office, a reminder that sometimes good guys do win, as long as they're willing to fight for what's right. Sarah never contacted us again. I heard she remarried in Pennsylvania, but I didn't care enough to verify it. She'd made her choice and was living with it, just like I was living with mine. The difference was I could sleep at night knowing I'd done the right thing, protected my children, preserved my business, and stood up to people who thought they could take advantage of decent, hard-working folks. Sometimes the only way to fix what's broken is to strip it down to the bare wires and start over. And sometimes justice looks like a man standing in a parking lot at 2 a.m., surrounded by friends who understand that some lines should never be crossed.